I think the hardest thing about video chatting is, especially with a large group of people, is the knowing what to do with your face. Do I do the responses yeah, or do I just have a kind of resting face, but then I don't want to think the person that's talking thinking that I'm not listening. I don't know. It's just weird, but it's the future. So here we are, people.
Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.
Hey there, fashion friends. So today's topic, style and tips for video chatting. So today's episode's really not necessarily about if you're video chatting with your family. I mean, your family's not going to care whether or not you're holding your phone low and have a double chin or have no makeup on. I'm more speaking to interview video chats, business video chats, and maybe even a date video chat. I know that's happening out there. So to really just be able to look like the best version of yourself, to really have the most flattering angles, to really accentuate your already beauty, just to look your best. Okay, so with that, let's get into it. So I'm going to do a two-parter here today. The first part is going to be style for the video calls, and the second part is going to be tips, more technical tips. And before I get started, I just want to mention that these are just tips on what I do, especially with the styling. This is just how I style myself to be the most flattering for these video chats. For the technical tips, that is a little bit more technical tips that can be implemented for everybody. It's not based on perspective, it's just based on facts and composition. Starting off with styling. So the first thing that I like to do is pick out a basic top. And what I mean by this is not distracting, usually a neutral color, and frames the face. So a perfect example would be something like a black turtleneck. The reason why I don't like having something that's distracting with a bunch of prints or a bunch of detailing is because you don't want to be too distracting. And for me, neutral colors definitely work the best. Basically having a neutral canvas. It just then allows for your face to be the showpiece, allows for your face to be the star, and doesn't distract from it. And then just being really mindful of the neckline. So for me, I really like to have a neckline that's gonna frame my face. So I normally, not always, but normally will stick to a higher neck. So I love turtlenecks. I don't know what I'm gonna do when summertime comes. I'm gonna have to get some turtleneck tanks. Crew necks as well are just great for filming because it just frames your face real nice. And then just if you are gonna choose colors, just making sure that it's not gonna wash you out. That's usually why you'll see me wearing black in the interview part of my videos, because I just feel you can never go wrong with black. The second thing is accessorizing to a minimum. If I do wear jewelry, if at all, it's very simple, very understated, because again, it's just super distracting because it's such a close frame. My rule of thumb is, do you really need any accessories? And if you do, try to keep it to one. And then the third styling is makeup pops. So what I mean by this is just having those little makeup pops for the eye, the cheeks, and the lips. So when you are on camera, whether it's video chat, whether it's this sort of thing, if you're filming yourself, or it's on your phone, your computer, whatever it may be, you're usually gonna be washed out. That's why there's a reason why people in movies, on stage, are wearing intense makeup. It's because they don't want to be washed out. They really want to be able to show the features of their face. Okay, so that's pretty much it for styling. Let's get into the technical tips. With filming yourself with video chatting, it's very much the same. So these are things that I use every single day when I film. The first tip is positioning. So the best rule of thumb is to try to keep the camera at eye level, or maybe just a tiny, if you have to, maybe a tiny bit above or a tiny bit below. That's how somebody, if you were, in person with somebody face to face, that's how somebody would be looking at you. And it's definitely the most balanced perspective of your face. If you're too low, it makes your bottom half look giant. That's where you get the triple chin action happening. And if you go too high, it can make your nose look real big, your forehead look real big, and it's just disproportionate. Okay, the second tip is lighting. Lighting is everything. If you have bad lighting, it's like every shadow, every blemish, like everything's there. It's actually not that difficult to have good lighting. So 2 things that you can do that are just super, super easy. The easiest thing is to use natural lighting. I absolutely love natural lighting. So you can easily do that by just finding a window in your house and then setting up your camera, computer, your phone up right in front of the window and having the window facing you with the window behind the camera or the computer or the phone. And ultimately this is just gonna light up your face, make it glow, make it beautiful, take away those shadows. The thing you don't want is lighting coming directly from the side, lighting coming directly from the top, and not having any other lights filling. Those are just some real awkward, non-flattering shadows if you have them coming directly from the side or above. So just to keep those in mind. Maybe you have an office setup that just doesn't make that work. So the other option is just getting like a desk lamp that has the LED option where you can change the LED settings more warm to cool, and then you can change like the levels as well, which is amazing. If you don't have that, if you just have like a lamp or like an LED lamp and it's just a bit too harsh, even with like a lampshade or something, just put like a piece of like real sheer fabric. Maybe it's even just like one of those cheesecloth type towels over the LED light, and it'll diffuse that light and it'll give you that same sort of glow, that same sort of natural lighting that you would get from a window. And again, just brightening your face, taking away those shadows. So hopefully one of those things will work for you, but if not, you can always use like the light on your, the flashlight mode on your phone. But either way, just keep that in mind. Lighting is everything. That is the difference of when you look good or when you look bad. So even with good lighting, you can look good at 6 o'clock in the morning after waking up. Okay, and tip number 3 is background. If you can, best case scenario is having a blank background. I prefer to have like a blank background because again, it frames you nicely and it's not distracting and it looks just a lot more professional, just a lot more clean. If you can't have a blank background, the other option is just having a nice curated background. And ultimately what that means is it's like if you're in like an office, let's say, and your camera setup like shows your shelves, all your like work shelves behind you. Just take like an hour or two to just clean up the shelf, maybe organize it in a nice way, maybe throw a couple plants in the mix, just soften it up a bit and just make it look a little bit more staged, a little bit more soft, a little bit more curated, more intentional, just to have like a nice background. All right, there we have it, folks. 3 different ways to style and 3 different tips to look your best on video chats. So hopefully today's episode was helpful. Again, like I said, I just wanted to be able to share, my everyday experience with you guys to maybe help you with your everyday experience. Please comment below if you have any questions or if you have any tips that you would like to add that I didn't mention here today. If you did like today's episode, you know what to do. Give me that thumbs up, comment below, share with friends, and subscribe for future weekly episodes if you haven't already. All right, folks, you have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will be chatting soon. Bye.